Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the 2026 enterprise AI platform landscape. If you're an engineering leader, a CTO, or, a data head trying to figure out exactly where to lay your foundation for the next several years, this is absolutely where you need to be. As Internative perfectly points out, picking an enterprise AI platform in 2026 is a bigger decision than picking a model. And it's so true, right? Models are changing constantly. There's a new state-of-the-art benchmark being completely shattered every few weeks. Because of that, the true critical choice for engineering leaders isn't actually the model itself, it's the operational edges of the platform hosting it. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll hit the 2026 AI platform war, do a rapid-fire comparison of Vertex, Bedrock, and Foundry, dig into TCO and compliance, look at the Microsoft 365 integration edge, spotlight MAI Transcribe 1.5, and finally map out the enterprise decision tree. Section 1. The 2026 AI platform war. Here's the reality. All three major hyperscalers now host top-tier models, and they all offer agentic primitives. So the battleground has completely shifted. It's no longer just about who has the smartest AI. Instead, any serious enterprise AI platform absolutely must deliver on 5 essential layers just to get a seat at the table. You need broad model access with consistent APIs. You need fine-tuning with strict private data boundaries. You need agentic orchestration, and I mean multi-step agents with actual tool use, not just a basic chatbot. You need rock-solid data governance with role-based access control and PII detection. And finally, clear cost and billing transparency. Honestly, a platform that hides costs until month 5 is going to completely kill your next AI initiative. Section 2. Vertex versus Bedrock versus Foundry. Let's break them down. We'll kick things off with Google Cloud Vertex AI. Vertex is incredibly model agnostic. Its biggest win is the model garden breadth, giving you managed endpoints for Gemini, Claude, Llama, Mistral, you name it. It also boasts the cheapest managed production LLM right now, the Gemma 4 mixture of experts model, at a crazy 13 cents per million tokens. Plus, its agent development kit is widely considered the cleanest agentic primitive available. But where does it fall short? Well, discoverability and onboarding. The documentation can be kind of inconsistent across different Google surfaces, and that leads to frustrating enterprise onboarding delays. We're talking up to 6 weeks in some cases. Moving over to AWS Bedrock. Look, if you're already deeply embedded in AWS, Bedrock is by far the easiest procurement path. You just use your existing IAM policies and VPC designs. It has unbelievably tight parity with Anthropic's Claude, and the Bedrock guardrails offer the strongest out-of-the-box content filtering, hands down. But it has its drawbacks. The model catalog is definitely narrower outside of its core partnerships, and its observability, it's highly fragmented. You're basically forced to stitch together CloudWatch metrics, prompt flows, and evaluations, which makes it feel like 3 entirely different tools instead of one unified platform. And then we have Azure AI Foundry, which is the successor to Azure AI Studio. Foundry's massive advantage is its exclusive OpenAI GPT distribution for regulated spaces, paired with this absolutely seamless integration into the Microsoft 365 and Copilot ecosystems. But it isn't perfect either. It suffers from what analysts are calling surface sprawl. There are confusing naming conventions between Copilot Studio and Foundry agents that can really trip up developers who aren't used to the Microsoft way of doing things. Also, scratch that lowest cost idea if your workloads are bursty. Their provisioned throughput unit pricing can get very expensive very fast if you don't have sustained traffic. Just to quickly summarize model breadth, because that's often a major deciding factor for teams, Google Vertex and Azure Foundry are basically neck and neck at the top. They both offer a massive array of choices. AWS Bedrock trails slightly, with a narrower, more focused catalog. Section 3. The TCO and compliance factor. So the crucial point is this: technical specs only gets you so far. There is this pervasive myth floating around that finding the lowest per token cost is the ultimate goal. It's just not. At the 12-month mark, token cost typically makes up only 30% of your total cost of ownership. So what's taking up the other 70%? That is the notorious cloud billing surprise. It's completely consumed by engineering time, DevOps maintenance, observability tooling, and maybe the biggest culprit, compliance overhead. And speaking of compliance, this often dictates your platform choice before an engineer even writes a single line of code. All three have the basics, SOC 2, HIPAA, but look at the niches. If you're in government or defense and you need FedRAMP, Bedrock often wins by default. If you need complex FIAEC, financial, and healthcare combinations, Foundry takes the lead. And for strict European regulatory and public sector needs, Vertex is usually the top choice. Section 4. The Microsoft 365 Integration Edge. For a massive segment of the enterprise market, Foundry is decisively winning the time-to-value war. If your organization is already running its daily operations on Microsoft 365, Foundry lets you deploy agentic workflows that plug right into Teams, SharePoint, and Exchange using the Microsoft Graph. We are literally talking about taking implementation time that used to be measured in months and compressing it down to days. It's a real game changer. And Microsoft makes transitioning to this ecosystem incredibly smooth. If we peek under the hood at the actual backend code, specifically a standard JSON properties block, you'll see a Foundry auto upgrade status. This shows how Microsoft is automatically transitioning eligible Azure OpenAI resources right into Foundry. On the backend, this gives users access to a broader model set and Foundry agent services, without bumping up costs and without you even needing to change your existing API keys or endpoints. It's just brilliant friction reduction. Section 5. Spotlight. MAI Transcribe 1.5. To really showcase these unique platform advantages, let's look at a brand new model deployed directly on Foundry, Microsoft's MAI Transcribe 1.5. This is a speech-to-text model, and what makes it incredible is an instant 30% reduction in word error rate on the multilingual FLIRS benchmark. 30%! How it achieves this is what really matters for enterprise developers. It does it by utilizing custom, user-provided keyword lists. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that's such a massive deal. A huge problem with transcription in enterprise audio is that models completely fail on domain-specific names, acronyms, or product terminology. In a standard setup without biasing, the model hallucinates the spelling of names. It writes Sean the common way or completely breaks on a name like Sochel, literally spelling it Societal. But with keyword biasing turned on, the model uses shared context to actively bias its predictions toward your specific list of vocabulary. It fixes all those complex name spellings like Oife and Surin instantly without forcing blind matches. For internal enterprise data, it's absolutely crucial. Section 6. The Enterprise Decision Tree. Let's synthesize all of this into a concrete, actionable decision tree. The absolute first question you have to ask yourself is, which cloud is your enterprise already 80% or more running on? Seriously, adding a second cloud purely for AI is going to triple your networking and compliance overhead. So unless you have a massive, glaring feature gap, your current cloud is almost always the right answer to start with. But let's say a specific model family or existing software ecosystem is totally non-negotiable for you. In that case, follow the secondary branch. If you must have GPT-5 or deep Microsoft 365 integration, you choose Foundry. If you have heavy multimodal work, need a massive 2 million token long context, or rely heavily on Gemini, choose Vertex. And if your architecture is deeply, immovably reliant on Anthropic's Claude, you choose Bedrock. It really is that simple. I want to echo this incredible piece of advice from Internative. Stop deciding on polished vendor demos. Demos are great, but they don't have your dirty data, your crazy scale, or your specific compliance constraints. Instead, stand up a parallel prototype on 2 platforms for 12 weeks. Run head-to-head engineering pilots. That is literally the only real way you are going to discover your true total cost of ownership and the actual integration friction. I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Most experts agree you don't need a multi-cloud AI setup in year 1. But by year 2, almost every enterprise finds at least one specialized workload that their primary platform just cannot handle efficiently. So ask yourself, what complex workload is eventually going to force your enterprise into a hybrid AI architecture? Think about it and start planning those prototypes today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this brought some clarity to your 2026 AI strategy.